Hello, today I'm going to do my bookshelf tour. Now, bookshelf tour is the only requested video that I actually have. So if you have any video ideas, then please request them down below. But it's the only request that I had, so I thought I kind of have to do it. I did start uploading on this channel, doing it shelf by shelf. I only did one of those videos and I just don't think it worked, and I think it would clog up my channel. So I'm just going to do it in one and try and talk about as many books as I can in this video. So I hope you like it. So this is an overview of my top shelf of my bookshelf. It's actually really high. I'm actually standing on a chair at the moment, so it's not very easy to show you this. But basically, the starts with those are children's literature, classic things like Brontë'S Grimm, Hanks, Christie and Andersen. Then go into Penguin Orange classics, and then into modern day children's fiction. We're getting into like Patrick Ness and A Street Cat Named Bob and Jacqueline Wilson stuff. This shelf is really difficult to show you, so I think I'm going to move on to the second shelf, which is classics. So I'll just give you a little overview of this. So a few here is I've got all the PG Woodhouse series. I'll just show you one. Pigs Have Wings. There's that one, and Iris Murdoch's Brilliant's Dream. And then just these really vintage learning books, ladybird books. And then moving over to here we have stuff like Anne Frank's diary, but I think I've made videos on the majority of these things, so we'll move on to the second shelf, which is classic fiction. So this is my second shelf, and this is all my classic fiction, so I'll just give you a bit of an overview. And then here's into like collections of poems and modern sort of classics, which are they're sort of seen as. So first up here I have André Dumas's The Black Tulip, and this is like a really old copy of it. It's got a little embossed tulip. It's just beautiful, and it has a picture of him inside it. I think this is in my Beautiful Books video. There's a picture of him there. It's just really nice, and I just like to keep it on top because otherwise it will get squashed, because it's like suede. It will get squashed in between the books, so I'll pop that up there for now. And if we start over here, I've got Calamity Jane, the script, a Western musical. I was in that at college, that's why I've got that. I've got The Diary of a Nobody, and this is the edition from the Folio Society. So I'll just take it out of its little slipcase. There you go. The Folio Society make the most beautiful books. They're normally classics, but they do some modern stuff. They're normally quite expensive, but I got this really cheap at a bookshop, and so that's why I got it. And then I have my Brontë'S section. So this is Emily Brontë's Wuthering Heights in a hardback, Emily Brontë's Wuthering Heights in a paperback, and Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, which I just started, and I'm absolutely loving this. I've then got a Shakespeare section. So I've got Romeo and Juliet, obviously. I've got Shakespeare's love poetry, which is actually really good. This is from Every Man's Poetry. It's a really good edition. I've then got A Midsummer's Night's Dream, As You Like It, which is actually my favourite Shakespeare play. I read it ages ago. I really need to reread that, but I loved it. I then have Arthur Miller's Death of the Salesman, one of my all-time favourite books, and then a Daphne du Maurier section. So I've got Rebecca, I've got The Flight of the Falcon, and My Cousin Rachel. Then I've got Middlemarch by George Eliot, and then onto my Jane Austens, and these two I haven't read. So I've got Pride and Prejudice, which I haven't read, and Northanger Abbey, which I tried to read, but there seems to be a lot of characters in there, so I don't quite know whether I'm going to continue with that. Then got another one of my favourite books. This is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I don't like this edition. It's just Penguin Classics, but I love this book. Then got my Dickens. So I've got Christmas Carol, Little Dorrit, and The Old Curiosity Shop. Then got Virginia Woolf's To the Lighthouse, George Orwell's Animal Farm, and then now onto my Louise Alcott books. So I've got obviously Little Women, and I got this embossed copy, which I just think is so beautiful. If you're going to get Little Women, just like, believe me, you're going to love it. It's just beautiful, so just get a nice copy. Love that. And then I got Little Wives, which I haven't read yet. I've heard of quite a few negative things about it, but I just got a really battered but very old copy of it there. Then moving on, we got Graham Greene's Brighton Rock. We got King's the Arms, The Old Devils, and I'll move the camera around because there's more books here. We've got Catherine Cookson's The Glass Virgin, which I absolutely love the film adaptation of this. And then these are more modern books that are called classics. So we've got Revolutionary Road by Richard Yates. We've got Donna Tartt's The Secret History, which too many people have told me to read for me not to read it. So this needs to be my next book I pick up. I've got The Help by Catherine Stockett, which loads of people have said that I will like. So I'm excited to read that. I've then got one of my all-time favourite books by one of my all-time favourite authors. This is Alice Walker's Living by the Word, and it's a collection of her writings between 1973 and 1987. And believe me, this is fully worth every penny of your money. It's stunning. Her writing is just so inspirational. I then have this little cute book, which is an anthology of love. It's got people like Shakespeare and Dickens and Charlotte Browning and all those kinds of fun people in it. So that's a really cute book. I've got More Poetic Gems by William McGonagall. Poems by R. Browning, a very loved book. I got it like this. I'm not a beast. I didn't rip it open, imagine. But no, this is really nice. It's really nice and padded because they've obviously put this in it. But it's just his poems. It's really beautiful. I then got this book, Woman by Moira Healey, which is a collection of short stories by female authors about women. I've got Oprah Winfrey's What I Know For Sure. This book, again, is fully worth your money. I then got Favourite Christmas Carols, and these are all really traditional carols. Let me show you with all really nice pictures in them. Just a cool little book. And that's it for my classics shelf. This shelf is my third shelf, and this might seem like quite a weird idea for a shelf. This is basically all the books that I've read this year. I put on one shelf, I categorise them so I know what sort of genres I'm reading, and then I can see what books I want to read. So for example, I've only read one translated fiction book this year. It was Sophie DeVries' The Library of Unrequited Love, and so that sort of tells me I need to read more translated fiction. So I'm just going to run through this really quickly, and then at the end of the year I'll put this all in its, right categories, but I just do this probably about autumn time just to see what I'm reading. And so, for example, I've only read one graphic novel, and that was Calling Dr. Laura, a graphic memoir by Nicole J. Georges. So this reminds me I've got to read another one. I've read, this is Roald Dahl's and James and Giant Peach, stunning. Roald Dahl, Charlie and Chocolate Factory, fantastic as well. Oh god, get back in there. Mary Poppins by P.L. Travis. The Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett, which you need to read. This is just beautiful. Snow White, A Brothers Grimm. Now this book is the Brothers Grimm original story, but it's got illustrations by Camille Rose Garcia, and her illustrations are the thing that I really think makes the book. So let me show you just a few examples. But it is the original Brothers Grimm tale, which I find very repetitive, I'm afraid. I know it's probably really blasphemous to slag them off, but I just think Brothers Grimm's, a lot of their stories are very, very repetitive. And this story is very repetitive, and it did irritate me a little bit. But I love this edition. It's definitely worth getting it for this edition though. Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Dawn O'Porter's Paper Aeroplanes. Ava Deliria's Love Letters to the Dead. Rainbow Rowell's Fangirl with that horrible rubber cover. Alice Cooper's Life on the Refrigerator Door. And then into the classics section. So I've read this year To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Truman Capote's Breakfast at Tiffany's, which I absolutely hated more than anything, and I cannot wait to give away at the end of the year. You will not be staying here. I read one Jane Austen, and that was Persuasion, which I loved. Arthur Miller, I read two Arthur Millers. I read All My Sons and The Crucible. I love the cover on this. Beautiful. I then read Ian Forster's A Room with a View, and then going on to adult fiction. Wicked by Gregory Maguire, which I got ages ago. Daniel Vega's The Merciless, which I actually really loved, but I really hated these beveled edges. Ugh, God, they're uneven. You probably can't see, but they're really annoying. But anyway, Mary Higgins Clark, Where Are the Children, was the first book I read of the year. Now going into horror, Stephen King's Misery, we all know what I thought of that. Keith Graham's Ghosting, The Long Weekend by Savita Callahan, Krogar Rises by Kate Can, and the last short horror book I read was The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy and Other Stories by Tim Burton. Now, I read 3 Jodie Picoult books this year because I find her so easy to read. So Jodie Picoult, The Lone Wolf, The 10th Circle, and Change of Heart. Then I read The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. Don't ask me why I got 2 copies, I literally have no idea, and I'll show you what these books are here. Okay, so The Hidden Cottage by Erica James. I've already mentioned that one, that's Library of Unrequited Love. Burial Rites by Hannah Kent, which also has a rubbery cover as well. Girl the Pearl Earring by Tracy Chevalier, perfect. Girl Interrupted by Susan Kaysen, 2 very perfect books that you should definitely read. And then I have my elephant here. Elephants are a theme of this room because they're my favourite animal, they're everywhere. With all my bookmarks, because I make bookmarks and sell them on eBay, and some other little bookmarks in there as well. And then I have 3 books here which I've read, but I haven't done a review on them, so you'll see them very soon. And that's it for the bookshelf, all I've read this year. A few books I've lent out to people, so I've read a few more, but I'll do like a video on that at the end of the year. And now down to my 4th shelf. So this shelf here is all adult fiction, so I'm just going to skip through the majority of these because I've read them and I've probably spoken about them before. So I've got all these vintage type books that I haven't read yet, but I think just look really beautiful together, like Where's Brandy and Edgar Rice's Jungle Girl, which is beautiful. Edgar Rice Burroughs, sorry, Jungle Girl. And then I have these older books, which is I'll Say She Does by Peter Chevray and stuff like that. They're just really quaint, nice books, but they don't have any covers or anything, so there's no point me really showing you any of them. Red Fields by Grace S. Richmond, but as I said, there's no covers on them, so there's not much point showing you them. I then have, this is a series, this is book 8, and this is Elsie'S Great Hope, and it's based on a best-selling classic by Martha Finley. Then have this huge book. This is Penny Vengetti's, The Dilemma. John Grisham's Skipping Christmas. Paige Town's Chasing Daisy. Gold by Chris Cleave. Oh Dear Sylvia by Dawn French. The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. No Mean City by A. MacArthur and H. Hinsley Long, and this looks amazing. This is a really old copy because this was 5 shillings, so obviously we don't do shillings anymore in England, but it's a best-selling novel about the Glasgow slums. Glasgow is in Scotland, and it seems like a really interesting book. Caitlin Moran's How to Be a Woman. I then have these books here, which I haven't actually bought myself. They were sent to me by publishers for review. So I haven't actually got around to reading all of these books yet. I've got Nancy Cather's A Nantucket Christmas. I've got Strange Girls and Ordinary Women by Morgan McCarthy. A lot of these are new releases now when this video goes up. I've got 6 Stories and an Essay by Andre Levy, and this is absolutely amazing. I've only read some of it and I'm loving it so far. I got The Good Children by Rupa Farudik, and it's got a beautiful cover on it there. These are all from Tinder Press, so the ones that they give out for review just have this spine so you can tell. And then moving on to this, I got Charles, His Royal Highness Guide to Great Britishness. I got Wiley by Penn Farthing. And then last but not least, I have Victoria Hislop's The Sunrise. And that's it for this shelf. So here is my second bookcase. Sorry if the lighting's different, it's just my camera ran out of battery, so I had to change the battery and everything like that and recharge it and all that jazz. So it's a little bit darker and a little bit later in the day. But here's my second bookshelf. So at the top here, I have Scott Westfield's Uglies and Pretty series. And then if we come over to this side, I have the Splintered series. So I've got Splintered, Unhinged, I've got The Hunger Games and Marked and Betrayed, which is the House of Night series, which are just these 2 here. So this is Kiss Me, Kill Me. This is another series. This is The Awakening by Kelly Armstrong, and these are all kind of paranormal, sort of Twilight bordering-esque kind of things. This is Shiver. There's Zaid by Heather Reyes and Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. And then right on the end I have Thomas Harris's Red Dragon and Silence of the Lambs. So that's that shelf. I'm just going to go really quickly through these. So the next shelf, I have my Gillian Flynn collection. I have Dark Places, Gone Girl and Sharp Objects. And then to the side, I have Edgar Allan Poe's Tales of Suspense, which I really like the cover on that one. And then have my Agatha Christie collection. I only actually have 2. And then these really nice hardbacks. I have The Body in the Library and The Mirror Cracked from side to side. I then have A Great Murder Mysteries anthology, which has got so many people. It's got Roald Dahl, Agatha Christie, Charles Dickens, loads of different authors in there. It's just a series of short murder stories. Such a good anthology. Then got my Dorothy Eden collection. I've got Afternoon Walk and The Time of the Dragon with the most beautiful cover. And then these are sort of paranormal-esque, I suppose. So I've got Witness by Kath Staincliffe, and This is the Water by Yannick Muri, Lagoon here, and Lips Touch by Laini Taylor. Some people might know of Laini Taylor. And these were all sent to me from the publishers, and I haven't got around to reading them yet. I've then got The Night Circus by Erin Mogson. And then nearly there, nearly the last one, I just have got a little bit of historical fiction on that shelf there. And then down again, this is just a bit of everything. This book here is a massive coffee table book of Lady Gaga by Terry Richardson. Basically, he went on a tour with her. Terry Richardson is a photographer, should have said that first. He's done photos for Vogue. His photos are amazing and very sort of quirky and just really cool. And so he went on tour with her for a year and they became close friends, and he just took those pictures of her. But it's like personal snaps as well. It's a really lovely book. And then right at the bottom, I've got some Victoria Wood. I've got the Bible, some hymn books, and that's just sort of miscellaneous books I'd like to get to kind of thing. Got Jessie J's book and the Peep Show scripts. And that's it. That's the end of my bookshelf tour. So that was my bookshelf tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I actually had lots of fun doing it, and I saw books that I'd kind of forgotten about. So I'd say if you have a bookshelf, like, just go through it. I know it seems like really boring, but it's not. It'll be really exciting, and there's certain books that you'll forget about, and you know, there's so many books now that I want to read that I forgot that I had. And so many books that I want to reread. So I definitely recommend it, whether you film it or not. Like, film it, that would be great, and like tell me if you've done one of these, because I love watching bookshelf tours. But even if you're not going to film it, I think it's a good idea to see what's on your shelf. And I know I need another bookcase. There's like no room, guys, in this room for another bookcase. So I don't know, I'm going to have to just start stacking them up in here, I think. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, then leave a comment down below, and I will see you very soon. Bye!